All right, everybody, I wanted to give you a quick update on the border because if you asked our government, they would say that everything is fine and dandy, that we don't need to focus in on the border because it's secure, we don't have illegal immigrants coming over en masse, and we really don't need to pay attention to the issue. We actually had the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas come forward in front of Congress and testify about the situation and give us a little insight into, as of November 2023, what the situation is looking like. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the government's view of our southern border.
So the situation at the border, you're saying, is not a disaster?
That is correct.
Okay, so the guy tasked with making sure that our border is secure says that there is no disaster at the southern border. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene just introduced articles to impeach this man, and that's kind of crazy to me, seeing as to the fact that it's not a disaster down there. So let's go ahead and do our own quick dive into some of the numbers. Now, I highlighted what happened in September, where we had a record-breaking 270,000 migrants that were encountered at the border for that month alone. Now, this comes from the New York Post, and it says that more encounters were recorded on the United States southern border in the 2023 fiscal year than any other since the government began collecting these records in 1960. Now, September's records or numbers broke records, with the previous record being set in December of 2022 when we saw a little over 250,000 illegal immigrants cross our border. By the way, the third highest month on record was August of this year, with a little bit over 230,000 people crossing. So just to give you guys an idea of the not disastrous southern border per Alejandro Mayorkas. Now, let's also take a peek at what else is going on down there, because we're going to be getting into this very interesting impeachment scenario with Marjorie Taylor Greene and why she thinks that the DHS secretary should be impeached. From Bill Malugin, and this came out just a couple days ago, per a Customs and Border Patrol source, Border Patrol's Tucson, Arizona sector recorded over 2,400 illegal crossings yesterday alone. He put this out on November 7th. The sector continues to be the biggest hotspot along the border, with illegal immigrants crossing there from all over the globe, including the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. And I just want to give you guys an example of what is happening at the border and a little bit of what that looks like in Arizona. Now, let's go on over to Texas and take a peek at what's happening over here, because, hey, maybe when Mayorkas was asked about this, he was only referencing the Texas border, which isn't a disaster. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that. Now, this video also comes from Bill Malugin. It is courtesy of the Texas Department of Public Safety, and it shows illegal immigrants bailing out of a human smuggler's stolen SUV and running into the brush as they are pursued by Texas troopers and Border Patrol. This is near Del Rio, Texas, over this past weekend, with troopers reacting to that chaos, just being visibly shocked by what they are seeing. So Arizona and Texas being completely overrun. We were seeing record-breaking numbers in September. And coming back to the Texas border, a horrific story was just broken in which 8 people, including 6 Americans, were killed by a human smuggler who was trying to evade police officers and crashed and killed all of the people involved in a head-on collision. So this happened in Batesville, Texas. And again, human smuggler driving a vehicle full of Honduran illegal immigrants. He was driving erratically, crashed head first into this SUV, and he killed everybody involved, including 6 innocent Americans. Here are their photos on screen now. Big shout out to Bill Malugin for this incredible reporting. He says some of the innocent Americans who have been killed in Texas by human smugglers crashing into them with vehicles full of illegal immigrants. And those are some of the families. Now, it was found out that 2 of these Americans were actually constituents of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene district. She writes, today, 2 innocent Americans from Dalton, Georgia, in Whitfield County, my district in Northwest Georgia, were murdered by a human smuggler with a vehicle full of illegal aliens. This is unacceptable. Alejandro Mayorkas is a derelict of his duty to secure our southern border, and my constituents are dying. So she immediately responded to this situation because it was absolutely horrific. Many people very upset with the fact that Americans are being killed because of events like this every single day, that border cities are being overrun, that the American people are being put at risk. And then today, Marjorie Taylor Greene brought those resolutions forth to impeach DHS Secretary Mayorkas because of this incident. Now, she referenced, I believe it was Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, and she said that there is an invasion at our southern border. She says that Mayorkas is willfully ignoring his duties of securing our border, which is why she brought forward these articles of impeachment. And if we do take a peek at what is happening at the border, because not only is this story horrific, but Americans are being attacked, they are being murdered, they are being raped by illegal immigrants in this country every single day. And I know that those are very jarring things to hear, but if you actually go on ICE's own website, they have an entire section of press releases that give us some insight into what the average American is going through every single day. I wrote this story for Turning Point USA the other day. Illegal immigrant charged with abduction and rape 2 years after being released into the United States. So this was a Honduran national who illegally crossed into the U.S., and this was back in 2021. In 2023, he was charged with felony rape by force, threat or intimidation, and abduction by force and assault on a family member. The Enforcement and Removal Operations, Washington, D.C., then issued an immigration detainer for this individual because he was arrested in Virginia, but the county jail released him back into the community without notifying the ERO. So the ERO then had to go and rearrest this individual, which took basically another 2 month time span from the time in which he was charged. So just giving you guys an idea of what is going on in the United States of America every single day. The other insane part of this story is that, again, this Honduran national illegally crossed over. Border Patrol gave him a notice to appear because the way that their protocol works is they apprehend these people and then they release them into the United States and say, hey, you're going to have to come forward in front of an immigration judge at this date. When I've gone down to the southern border, for example, in during the expiration of Title 42 in May of this year, I actually spoke to illegal immigrants who had that notice to appear paper, and some of them didn't have a date until 2026 because everything is so backed up, because the entire system is so full of illegal immigrants pouring into this country that the court system is backed up and these notice to appear dates keep getting pushed back farther and farther. And again, like I said, this is one horrific story, but you can go on the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement website and you can read all of the headlines just from this week. ERO San Antonio removes known Mexican drug cartel leader wanted in Mexico for organized crime. These are people that shouldn't be in the United States who are over here. ERO San Antonio removes Honduran non-citizen wanted for aggravated sexual assault in his home country. ERO Baltimore arrests Mexican national convicted of sexual abuse of Maryland minor. So people who shouldn't be in the United States but are, and that's why Marjorie Taylor Greene is bringing forward this resolution of impeachment against Alejandro Mayorkas. We'll see what happens with it, and if anything, many Americans asking the very basic question of why our border is not secure. Why is it that the cartels have so much power in this country, that human smuggling is up, that there is a record amount of fentanyl coming across our border every single day, and we continue to see more stories of American citizens being attacked and being killed by illegal immigrants that shouldn't be in this country. Thank you guys so much for watching. And before we hop off, please remember that America Fest is going to be happening this December 16th through 19th in Phoenix, Arizona. Use coupon code Savanah, that's SAVANAH, for 20% off of your ticket. I would highly encourage you guys to go and check out this event. It's going to be so fun. You're going to have Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Rob Schneider. He's one of my favorites. I used to love watching his movies when I was a younger kid. But it's going to be an incredible event. It's going to be an event surrounding America, surrounding our foundation, surrounding our ideals, and more importantly, it's going to be a great way to end the year. So, promo code Savanah for 20% off of your ticket. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to another border update.